The Amish do their cleaning every Monday, and the families are already up before the sun comes up. Using methods that have been passed down through centuries, they are getting ready to do piles of laundry. For families with 7 or 8 kids on average, doing laundry isn't just a job. It's an all-day event where everyone works together to wash, wring, and dry the clothes. Now, you might think that doing laundry is an easy job, but in Amish houses, it's a big deal. A wringer washer is an important part of these homes, just like a smartphone is in most modern ones. People who are not Amish are called English by the Amish. These tools may look old-fashioned to people who are not Amish, but they are actually very clever despite how simple they are. To explain how they work, a wringer washer is a big metal tub with 2 rollers on top and an agitator in the middle. Gas engines or compressed air are usually used to run these tools by the Amish because they don't allow electricity. What you might not know is that these washers need about 15 to 20 gallons of water per load. The water for most Amish homes comes from wells or streams on their own land. In some places, they even have complex systems that use gravity to bring fresh spring water right to the washhouses. That's pretty smart, right? When we talk about washrooms, that's where the magic takes place. These are different small buildings from the main house. Trust me, this is the busiest place on the farm on washing day. Another great thing about these old washers is that they use less water than new washers, which is a big plus. Also, clothes last longer because they don't get tossed around as much, and it's easy to fix anything that goes wrong with these machines. What was my best part? In contrast to modern machines, where you can only hope for the best, you can see what's going on with your clothes while they're being washed. But let's be honest, life isn't all sunshine and clean clothes. There are some bad things about these tools. One thing is that the wringer is a little risky. If you get your fingers stuck, it's not easy to get them out. This process takes a lot more time and work than just throwing clothes in an electric washer. And you wash clothes in a wash house that isn't warm in the winter. Not at all something anyone would look forward to, but my Amish friend Sarah once told me, the harder you work for something, the more you value it. So let's talk about hand-cranked agitators, which are also hard to use. These are the best ways to build biceps without going to the gym. The Schwartz and Truber Amish villages, which are known for being the most traditional Amish groups, use hand-cranked agitators a lot. In places where the Amish still follow the tightest old-world customs, like upstate New York and parts of Minnesota, these tools are used all the time. What exactly is a mixer that you turn by hand? Think of a big stick with paddles on it that you have to turn by hand to wash clothes. It's like making butter, but you get clean clothes and toned arms instead. These tools are beautiful because they are so simple. They don't have engines or other complex parts. All you need is some elbow grease. It's interesting that hand-cranked agitators use about 10 to 12 gallons less water per load than wringer washers. Most families that use these will also have a big water barrel nearby where they catch water from wells or rain. When I went to see an Amish family in Missouri, they had a smart setup. They made a natural method for collecting water by connecting their water barrel to the roof's gutters. It's time to work smarter, not harder. These hand-cranked agitators are very useful in a number of ways. One reason is that they're almost impossible to break. Nearly nothing can break them, and if something does, it's generally simple to fix with everyday tools. Also, they're very easy to move around. Need to wash clothes while camping? Just make sure you bring your troublemaker. To be honest, I don't think many Amish families are going to go camping. The best thing about these agitators is that they give you power over the cleaning process. You can change how fast and hard it works based on how dirty your clothes are. The bad thing about turning on the stirrer is that it's like agreeing to do an arm workout you didn't want. When you crank for about 15 minutes, your arms will feel like they're going to fall off. And if you need to do cleaning for a big family, let's just say that you might want to put ice on your shoulders later. It also takes a lot of time. It takes about 20 to 30 minutes of running each load non-stop to get it clean. I asked an Amish grandmother one time why they didn't just switch to something easy. She laughed and asked, "Why do we need more work? There are lots of kids here who can help crank." Now that we're talking about the old-fashioned way, let's talk about the washboard, which is still used in many Amish homes today. Oh, washboards! They were the first thing that made six-packs in the cleaning world. Even in the most traditional Amish villages, washboards are still used. This is especially true in smaller towns like the Nebraska Amish of Pennsylvania, who aren't even in Nebraska. Some families keep them around for tough stains that need extra care. It's kind of like having a backup phone in case your main one dies, but the Amish don't have that problem. It may look easy to use a washboard, but there is a bit of an art to it. At its core, it's a curved metal or glass surface that you rub your clothes against to clean them. It's usually set in a wooden frame. For the most part, Amish families that use washboards set them up in big wash tubs. There are often two tubs, one for cleaning and one for rinsing. It may not seem like much, but each tub needs about 5 to 7 gallons of water. If you have a big family, though, you'll probably need to change that water a few times during the day. It can be an adventure just to get the water to the washboards. A lot of families use hand-cranked or gas-powered pumps to get water from their wells to the wash area. Some of them are so smart that they use gravity to bring water from nearby springs into the system. The Amish family in Indiana who built their wash house on a small hill was my favourite. They let gravity help move the water between the tubs. It's time to work smarter, not harder. There are a lot of great things about washboard cleaning. To begin, you can really get rid of those tough spots. Picture little Jacob slipping into home plate while dressed for Sunday. You can get rid of grass spots with a washboard. In general, they use less water than bigger washing machines, and they don't need as much upkeep. Also, you can work out your upper body really well without having to pay for a gym registration. Some Amish women joke that you can tell how long someone has been playing the washboard by how strong their forearms are. They probably have what it takes to win any arm wrestling match in town. There are, of course, some bad things about it. You can get hit so hard that it would hurt a brawler. It takes a lot of time, scrubbing a single shirt for 5 to 10 minutes. Also, keep in mind that these are families with 8 or more kids. There is real damage being done to your back, arms, and hands. By the end of laundry day, I feel like I've wrestled with every piece of clothing, and the clothes usually win, laughed an Amish woman. But if you want to win the laundry fight, there's a secret weapon that makes all of these ways even better. Soaps and stains that are made at home by Amish people. Most of us buy whatever is cheap at the store, but Amish families make cleaning products that would make your great-grandmother happy. These aren't just nice-to-have things. You need them to clean up everything from grass spots to grease from fixing your buggy. This basic Amish laundry soap recipe has been passed down for many years and is surprisingly easy to make. An interesting fact is that most families start with lye that they make from wood ashes. They add water and fat or tallow, which is often made from their own farm animals. Some people add borax or washing soda to make it cleaner. What was my best part? When they make soap, they don't use fake scents. Instead, they use herbs from their fields, like lemon balm, lavender, and mint. If you can't say what's in your soap, it probably shouldn't be cleaning your clothes, an Amish woman told me. The Amish know how to get rid of stains better than most people use stain sticks today. Have a grass stain. Make a mix out of vinegar and baking soda. Grease from working on farm tools. Hydrogen peroxide and cornstarch mixed together do great things. Sunlight is one of the best things that can help them. They'll wet something, rub it with soap they made themselves, and then put it out in the sun. It's like bleach from nature, but without the harsh chemicals. The best thing about these cleaners you make yourself? They are easy for anyone to make. To make this simple recipe, all you need is 1 cup of grated Castile soap, or any plain bar soap, half a cup of washing soda, and it only takes half a cup of borax. The Amish mix baking soda, a little water, and vinegar to make a paste that they use to get rid of tough spots. I used this on a shirt that was stained with coffee last week, and it worked better than any store-bought stain removal I've ever used. The way these homemade cleaners work is what makes them so important for Amish homes. It's impossible to keep clean clothes when you work with horses, farm, or build furniture all day. Store-bought soap doesn't work when you have to deal with tree sap, machine oil, or the special mix of mud and manure that farm kids seem to be drawn to like magnets. If our soap can clean a boy's clothes after a day of helping birth calves, it can clean anything, laughed one Amish dad. Once you have your homemade soap ready, there are several steps you need to take to wash your clothes correctly. I'll show you what a normal Amish laundry day looks like. A normal Amish cleaning day starts around 4:30 a.m., before the roosters even think about crowing. It's like a dance with good steps. There is no music though. The beat is set by the splash of water and the squeak of washboards. When I saw this, I thought our throw it in the washer and forget about it way was pretty lazy. The first step is to sort. There are more than just lights and darks to talk about. Everyday dirty clothes, extra dirty work clothes, and please don't tell me what that stain is. Clothes, usually the kids' play clothes, are how Amish families usually sort their clothes. The dirty clothes are given a good soak in warm water with their homemade soap mixture before being put in the next pile. She said, if you don't soak little David's pants first, they might be able to stand up on their own. It's interesting to watch the washing process. They start with the cleanest clothes, which are generally clothes for church on Sunday, and work their way up to clothes for work on the farm. From beginning to end, each load takes 30 to 45 minutes. Either by machine or by hand, the clothes are cleaned, wrung out, rinsed at least twice, and then wrung out again. It's kind of like getting your clothes spa treated, but much stronger. There are about 15 to 20 loads of laundry a week for an Amish home with 8 to 10 people. Every family does their laundry twice a week on Mondays and Thursdays. Most of the time, the cleaning area is in a separate wash house or a part of the barn. This keeps the water and soap away from the main house. Some families even make clever rope systems to move big buckets of water around. It's time to work smarter, not harder. They keep lights and darks separate because no one wants their white clothes to turn grey, but what interests them more is the type of fabric than the colour. It's best to wash denim by itself because it can damage other clothes. Wool is washed separately because it can shrink, and plain cotton dresses and shirts, which are a mainstay of Amish clothes, are cleaned together because the dyes they use don't bleed very often. The whole process of doing laundry for a family can take up to 8 hours, and that's with a lot of help. It's not just about washing the clothes, though. One Amish woman once told me, it's to teach the kids how important it is to work hard and take care of what we have. If they don't use any power, how do they dry all those clean clothes? Let me tell you about how the Amish dry their clothes. It's really like a breath of fresh air. Using a hanging to dry their clothes might be the most eco-friendly way for Amish families to dry their clothes while the rest of us use dryers. But don't be fooled by how simple it is. There's a lot of science behind it that would make a scientist happy. Like solar panels in modern areas, clotheslines in Amish villages hang clothes outside to dry. They're everywhere. In most yards, families have more than one line set up. The total line space is usually between 100 and 200 feet. That might seem like too much until you learn that they're drying clothes for 8 to 10 people at once. The lines are placed so that they get sun in the morning and afternoon. They are also usually set back from dirt roads so that there is no dust, because no one wants to wash their clothes twice. The Amish are very good at reading the weather. They use wind and sun to figure out the best time to dry their clothes. They even check the weather to see how long their clothes dry outside. If there isn't enough sun, things won't dry all the way. If there is too much sun, they might fade. This shows how much the Amish value taking care of their clothes and the work that goes into it. Their methods may take a lot of time and effort, but they're proud of the work they do and the result: clothes for a family that are clean, fresh, and lovingly cared for without using power. The Amish are very good at reading the weather to find the best day for drying. What they want is what they call good drying weather, which is sunshine, a light breeze, and low humidity. Did you know that they can often tell when it will rain better than the weather app on your phone? They pay attention to things like how stove smoke rises, tree leaves change colour, and even how their horses act. When the crickets sing louder than usual, you better get those clothes in quick, I was told by an Amish farmer. What about the winter? Now things start to get interesting. Some families put up big drying racks inside, like in their basements or attics. Others string lines in their washrooms, using the leftover heat from their water heating stoves. My favourite winter answer came from an Amish family in Michigan. They built a drying room next to their kitchen, using the heat from cooking to help dry clothes. Talk about multitasking. When comparing it to current dryers, the benefits of line drying are pretty obvious. Electric dryers can damage fibres and make clothes shrink, but hanging clothes outside on a line makes them last longer. Also, the sun naturally cleans and bleaches, and that breeze, it softens clothes naturally. If you dry clothes on the line, they might feel a little stiff at first, but one Amish woman jokes, "Barely stiff clothes help you stand up straight in church." Of course, problems with the weather need creative answers. As you can imagine, it always seems to rain when you have 3 loads of clothes out on the line. When it starts to rain suddenly, everyone runs inside. It's like a fire drill with your family, but instead of stopping, dropping and rolling, you grab, fold and run. During winter weather, they would dry their clothes inside for days on end, making their homes what one smart Amish child called a clothes forest. You might not believe this, but these clothes that have been dried naturally smell amazing. Nowadays, soap companies spend a lot of money trying to make their products smell like Amish clothes that were dried outside. You know how soap bottles say they smell mountain fresh? In comparison to the real thing, it's about as real as a fake Christmas tree. It's not expensive perfumes or chemical recipes that make Amish clothes smell so great. It's the sun, the wind, and those homemade soaps we talked about earlier. When clothes dry outside in the fresh air, they naturally get rid of smells. The sun's ultraviolet rays kill germs, which is what makes clothes smell bad, and the breeze gives them a fresh summer scent. Why would we want our clothes to smell like a fake mountain when we have real grass and flowers right here? Laughed an Amish woman when I asked her about it. What's interesting is that the smell changes as the seasons do. In the spring, clothes smell like fresh grass and apple flowers. The smell of blooms and hay is strong in the summer. Fall adds a fresh green note, and winter, well, clothes that have been dried in the winter have a very clean, sharp smell that no fake fragrance has ever been able to match. Every season has its own perfume, and it's always free, says Mary, an Amish friend of mine. What's even more interesting is how these natural smells can be picked up by different things. Cotton, which is used to make a lot of Amish clothes, soaks up all the wonderful smells of the outdoors. There's something incredibly crisp about linens. One Amish dad jokes, "Give my boys an hour in the barn and they'll fix that right up." Even the heavy work clothes smell great when you come home. The difference between this and how we do laundry now is pretty clear. Commercial soaps try to make clothes smell clean by covering them in synthetic scents that can cause headaches and allergies. These fake smells might be too strong for you or your perfume, or they might even make you sneeze. The natural smell of Amish line-dried clothes, on the other hand, is soft and clean. It smells like warm sheets right off the line, making you want to hide your face in them. I once brought covers home from an Amish friend's house after washing and drying them there. My pillow smelled so good that night that my husband asked what new fabric cleaner I was using. He didn't believe me when I told him it was just sun, wind and soap. When we talk about easy things, wait until you hear what these clothes are made of. If you think it's hard to choose between cotton and polyester, wait until you hear about the materials that Amish clothes are made of. Their clothing choices aren't just about style, even though those. In conclusion, the Amish laundry process is a perfect example of how simplicity, tradition, and ingenuity work together to produce outstanding results. From hand-washing clothes on washboards to using homemade soaps and the natural elements for drying, Amish families continue to rely on practices that are sustainable, effective, and environmentally friendly. Their commitment to hard work and self-sufficiency shines through in their laundry methods, creating clothes that not only look clean but also carry the natural sense of the outdoors. Whether it's the sun's ultraviolet rays killing bacteria or the breeze infusing clothes with the freshness of nature, the Amish way of laundry is a timeless reminder of the beauty of simplicity. If you're inspired by their eco-friendly methods and want to try some of these old-fashioned laundry techniques yourself, don't hesitate to dive into the world of homemade soaps, line drying, and natural cleaners. You might just find that the most simple approaches are the ones that work the best. And remember, for more tips on living simply and sustainably, check out the resources linked in the description. Subscribe to our channel for more stories and tips from Amish communities, and feel free to share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Let's continue to learn from these timeless traditions together.